Can we also avoid not being dragged into it? Or is that just simply a consequence of the time that we're in right now, that then it needs to be some kind of confrontation? What do you think about this, David?
No, I don't think it needs confrontation. It needs non-cooperation in many, many areas of our lives. You know, I reckon in full knowledge of what they're doing, the number of people in that situation, absolute full knowledge of the game and supporting it, the agenda, it's a tiny fraction of the global population. The vast, overwhelming majority are the targets of those few. Now, they because of the way that they've been working this over a long period of time, because this has been projected forward, people would not, who are hearing this for the first time, would say it is impossible to project forward what is happening now way back. I mean, I'm talking hundreds of years, by the way.
Yep.
That sounds fantastic, but on another day we can go into why that's possible. And it's possible because it's not only this reality that's involved in this, and this is why people have been able to predict what is coming and talk about technology that wasn't even known about at the time that they were predicting it. It's because there is another force behind this, and this is why they can project forward so far. And this is the period that they've been aiming towards. And of course, when you look at the fact that they control the military, they control the police, they control the governments, they control the pharmaceutical cartel, they control the media, on and on you go. It seems a lost cause, but the target population has something that they don't even begin to have, and that's numbers.
Yeah.
And this is a key reason, there are others too, but it's a key reason why they want a massive cull of the population, because they know that if the numbers come together in anything like unity, then the game's up, it's all over. And so the idea has been right the way through, and we're going to see even more intense efforts for this coming up. The idea has been to divide and rule the mass of the population so there is not that unity. Set them at war against themselves, set them in competition with each other. And we now have to put those things aside and realize that we, as the target population, whether we're Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Hindu, black, white, sky blue, pink, middle-class American, pauper, it doesn't matter, because we're all the target, and we need to come together in unity for the sake not just of ourselves, but of children and grandchildren and their experience and their future experience, and come together as one. And if we withdraw our support for the system in terms of our acquiescence to it, our cooperation with it, then the system can't function. And this must include that the dark suits, as I call them, in the lower and middle ranks of administration, in governments and companies and media and all these different institutions, they need to start breaking ranks. And you guys in uniform, right? You need to start breaking ranks, because I tell you what you guys are doing. You are creating a nightmare prison global state that would make George Orwell wince for your families and for your children and for your grandchildren. You are doing that now. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And someday, very soon, you're going to have to explain that to those children and grandchildren. What were you doing, mummy, daddy, granddad, grandma, when this all happened? Oh, I was helping to bring it in, dear. So they have to start breaking ranks. We can hear sort of bangs in the distance, and we can go, okay, how can I explain this away so it's no problem to me? And then the bangs get louder, and you just have to explain it away a bit more stupidly and outrageously. And then suddenly people appear over the hill shooting in all directions. And then you've got to say, hold on, there is a problem. I've got to face this. Now, if we faced it earlier, before they appeared over the hill, we wouldn't get as far as it has.
Yeah.
We now have to draw a line in the sand and say, okay, we could have seen this earlier. We could have responded earlier. We didn't. But now it's bloody so obvious we need to respond now. We need to respond together. So put away your blooming religious differences and your income differences and your color differences and your culture differences, for goodness sake,
Yeah.
or we are going to be divided and ruled into a tyranny that you wouldn't even think of the depth that they want to go. We can do this, but we have to come together now and stop cooperating. In all areas of our lives, stop cooperating with anything that is part of the system of further imposing the will of the few upon the many. It's simple things like when they fine someone for putting a rubbish bin out on the wrong day or in the wrong place, like they're doing in Britain now, then the whole of that community should put their rubbish bins out on the wrong day, week after week after week. That's just a very simple example, but there are many other much more profound and much more kind of direct examples where we say we are not cooperating with this system. We are not cooperating with it. Okay, they want to put up vaccination programs and stuff at school. Okay, children don't go to school. And if that's how are they going to cope with that? When people get thrown out of their homes because their homes are foreclosed, then in vast numbers and even greater numbers when they crash the economy the next time, people need to stay put, and people around them need to support them staying put. You know, we've got this incredible situation where the banks and the greedy, selfish, unbelievably selfish and greedy people running them crash the economy, and people lose their jobs and can't pay their mortgages. And then the banks who've caused the problem then come to these people and say, you can't pay your mortgage to us, you've got to leave your house. I mean, what are we doing walking out the front door?
Yeah.
That's fundamental injustice and incredible injustice. We should stay put. Now, if one stays put, then the power of the state comes down on them. When enormous numbers of people stay put, hundreds of thousands of people say, no, we're not moving because you are the cause of the reason that we can't pay you the mortgage payments, then how are they going to do that? How are they going to cope with enormous numbers of people who won't leave their homes? The system couldn't cope. The system can only cope, Henrik, with our acquiescence and our fear of the consequences of saying no to the system. I tell you what, the consequences in terms of fear of continuing to say yes to the system are far, far, far worse than ever saying no is going to be.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why that needs to be pointed out as well, because one of the problems here as well on top of this is the sheep mentality in a way of people. They're scared. They're frightened of making this type of action that you're talking about, and they don't want to be first in line in a way. You know, they just they give up and walk away, and so obviously the question, and this is the difficult question: how do you get the mass of people to know, so to speak, that they can do it? You know, we can do so much, and we can talk, we can spread the information, we can get the word out there, but nothing is going to happen until action is being taken by every single human being, you know, in one way. And that is the difficult part right now.
It doesn't take every human being. It just takes an enormous number. It doesn't even take half, to be fair. It takes an enormous number, because this system needs major acquiescence and compliance from the population to survive and function. It's nothing even like half the population has to do this. And of course, many people, most people probably won't. They'll acquiesce. It's the ones that don't, that are going to change things. The ones that acquiesce are not. But let me. And in the end, all you can do is put information before people, and let them look at it, and then they have to decide, you know, if the backbone's straight or it's bent, whether they're going to run straight at this or turn around and hide. But I mean, you can use the sheep analogy very profoundly here, because we've all seen vast herds or flocks of sheep